You're not playing small by accident. You're doing it so other people feel comfortable around you. And I know that may hit a nerve, but stay with me. Because right now, you're not shrinking because you lack confidence. You're shrinking because a part of you has learned it's safer if I don't take up too much space. So let me ask you something honestly. How often do you hold yourself back? Not because you can't show up fully, but because you're shrinking about how other people will feel if you do. If we haven't met before, hi, I'm Cherry. I'm a spiritual life coach, Numerologist, and Energy Alchemist. And I help you understand the patterns that are keeping you stuck so you can actually stop repeating them. Because this isn't just about confidence. This is about your identity, your nervous system, and how you learn to adjust yourself to be accepted. In this video, I'm going to break down why you're playing small, how your energy body 7, your aura self, is being dimmed, and the shift you need to make if you want to stop shrinking and start being seen at your full actual self. Because your life doesn't change when you want more. It changes when you stop making yourself smaller to fit others. Before we go any deeper, I would love for you to hit subscribe and tap the notification bell, because this space is where you stop people pleasing and start actually standing in your power. And if you're ready for that, drop a fire emoji in the comments. All right, let's talk about what's really going on here, because this pattern runs deeper than you think. Let's be honest. You're not just being nice. You're managing how other people feel about you. You're thinking about how will it land, whether it's too much, if someone might feel uncomfortable, if you'll be judged. So what do? You soften, you filter, you hold parts of yourself back, not because they're wrong, but because you don't want to disrupt the dynamic. And here's the truth most people avoid. You've learned that being fully expressed comes with a cost. Maybe it was judgment, rejection, conflict, being misunderstood. So now you preempt it. You shrink before anyone else can react. And it feels subtle, but it's constant. And I'm guessing you're wondering, oh, I do this all the time. So let's strip this back and be really honest for a second. Because most people dress this up as, I'm just being nice, I'm just being considerate. Don't want to upset anyone. But that's not what's actually happening. What's actually happening is this. You are constantly managing how other people feel about you. You're scanning every situation for, how will this land? Is this too much? Will they feel uncomfortable? Am I going to be judged for this? And before anyone even has a reaction, you adjust, you tone it down, soften your opinion, hold parts of yourself back, or say less than you actually want to. Not because you don't know what you want to say, but because you're trying to control the outcome. And here's the part most people don't want to admit. You're not just expressing yourself. You're performing a version of yourself that you believe will be accepted. And I'm going to say this straight. That is exhausting, because you're not just living your life. You're constantly filtering yourself through, will this make people comfortable? And over time, that becomes automatic. You don't even realize you're doing it anymore. You just know that you don't fully say what you think. You don't fully show up how you want. You don't fully take up the space you should, because somewhere along the way you learned, if I'm too much, it's not safe. So now you don't wait for people to react. You pre-adjust. You shrink first. And it feels like control, but it's actually self-protection. And the longer you stay in that pattern, the more it shapes who you believe you are. So let's go deeper into this, because this pattern doesn't just affect how you show up. It affects who you allow yourself to become. Right now, there's a part of you that knows you're capable of more. You're ready for more. You want to take up more space. But there's another part of you that's quietly asking, what happens if I actually do? Because the moment you stop playing small, the moment you stop filtering yourself, the moment you start being fully seen, things will change. Not just externally, but in your relationships. And this is the part people don't say out loud. If you expand, you might outgrow people. People who are used to the version of you that keeps things easy. The version of you that doesn't challenge them. The version of you that stays in a certain role. And that creates tension, because part of you wants growth, but another part of you wants to stay connected, accepted, safe within your current dynamics. So what do? You find a middle ground. You grow, but only a little. You show up, but not fully. You speak, but you still filter it. Just enough to feel like you've moved forward, but not enough to actually disrupt anything. And that's the identity loop. I want more, but not at the cost of losing connection. So you stay in a version of yourself that feels familiar, manageable, acceptable to others, even if it's no longer aligned with who you are becoming. And this is where I'm going to be really direct with you. You cannot step into your next level while still prioritizing other people's comfort over your truth. At some point, you have to choose. And that's exactly what this year is asking of you, because this isn't just emotional. This is energetic. So let's bring this back to your energy body 7, your aura self, because your aura isn't just something that exists around you. It is how you are felt, perceived, and responded to. It's your presence. It's your signal. It's the way your energy says, this is who I am. This is what I'm available for. This is the level I operate at. And here's the part you need to really hear. When you play small, you are not neutral. You are actively dimming that signal. Every time you soften your truth, hold back your opinion, make yourself more palatable, or adjust your energy to keep things comfortable, your aura contracts. It becomes smaller, less defined, less clear. And what happens when your signal is unclear? People don't meet you at your level. They misunderstand you, underestimate you, overlook you, or interact with a watered-down version of you. Not because they're wrong, because that's what you're showing them. And this is where people get frustrated. They say, why am I not being recognized? Why do people not take me seriously? Why does it feel like I'm invisible? But if we're being real, you're not invisible. You're inconsistent. One moment you're fully expressed. The next you're pulling back. One moment your energy is strong. The next you soften it to keep the peace. And people can feel that. Your aura is saying two different things at the same time. See me, but not too much. And that creates confusion, not just for others, but for your own system as well, because you're not stabilizing at a level. You're fluctuating around it. And this is why nothing feels fully locked in, because your presence isn't consistent yet. And that's the real work of Energy Body 7. It's not about being the biggest version of you once. It's about becoming someone who can hold that level, stay in that level, and stop collapsing back down. So now the question becomes, what actually needs to change? Because awareness isn't enough. At some point, you have to decide who you're going to be. So this is where we bring in the bigger picture. Because this isn't just about your patterns. This is about the season you're in. You're in a universal year 1. And year 1 doesn't gently suggest change. It demands it. This is the year where you are being asked to define who you are, set new standards, and stop carrying versions of yourself that no longer fit. And here's the truth. The version of you who plays small to keep the peace, she cannot come with you. The version of you who filters herself, softens her truth, prioritizes being light over being real, she cannot build a life you say you want. So this is the moment where you have to decide, do I keep choosing comfort or do I start choosing myself? Because those two things are not the same. Choosing comfort looks like saying less than you want to say, holding back to avoid reaction, staying in roles that feel familiar. Choosing yourself looks like speaking fully, even if it shifts things, holding your energy, even if it feels uncomfortable, allowing people to have their reactions. And I'm going to be really clear with you here. Choosing yourself will disrupt things. It will change dynamics. It will make some people uncomfortable. And that's exactly why you've been avoiding it. But here's the reframe you need. Other people's discomfort is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you've stopped containing yourself to fit them. And that's the shift. Because your next level doesn't come from being more acceptable, being more agreeable, being easier to be around. It comes from being fully who you are without negotiating it. So let's make this real, because this doesn't change when you understand it. It changes when you start catching yourself in the moment and choosing differently. First, notice when you're about to adjust yourself. This is the first step. Right before you soften your opinion, say less than you want to say, or hold back your energy, or make something nicer than you actually feel. Pause. That's the moment. Not later when you reflect on it, but right there. And ask yourself, Am I saying this because it's true or because it feels safer? That question alone will start to break the pattern. 2, say the thing without over-explaining. This is where most people collapse. You say something honest and then immediately follow it with justification, explanation, or softening. To make sure it lands well, stop. Just say it and then leave it. Let people meet you there, because the more you explain, the more you dilute your own authority. 3, hold eye contact energetically. This isn't just physical, it's energetic. When you show up, stay present. Don't rush, fidget, or pour your energy back. Let yourself be fully there, because presence communicates more than words ever will. 4, let people have their reaction. This is the one that will stretch you, because you're so used to smoothing things over, fixing discomfort, keeping everything easy. But growth doesn't come in comfort. So when someone does react, don't immediately adjust. Let it be, because their reaction is not your responsibility to manage. 5, expand without asking for permission. This is the identity shift. Stop waiting for approval, validation, or reassurance to be more of yourself. You don't need someone to tell you it's okay for you to take up space. You decide that, and then you act accordingly every time, because the more you do this, the more your system starts to learn. This is who we are now, and that's how your aura stabilizes. That's how your presence strengthens. That's how your reality changes. So I want you to sit with this honestly. Where are you still shrinking just to make other people feel more comfortable? Where are you still holding back your truth, softening your energy, or staying smaller than you know you are? Because this is the truth. You don't stay stuck because you're not capable. You stay stuck because you keep choosing a version of you that feels safer but smaller. And if that doesn't change, your reality won't either. But the moment you start to speak fully, show up fully, and stop managing how you're perceived, everything begins to shift. Your confidence, your visibility, your opportunities, all of it. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, I can see exactly where I'm shrinking, but I don't know how to hold this consistently, this is exactly what we work through inside my Stop People Pleasing Breakthrough session. It's a free 30-minute session where we go into your identity patterns, your nervous system responses, and how to rebuild your self-concept so you can actually hold your next level. So if you're ready to stop playing small and start being seen at the level you know you're capable of, go ahead and book your session. The link is in the description box below. And if this has landed for you, hit subscribe, like this video, and drop a fire emoji in the comments and let me know what part of this video landed for you the most. Because this version of you, she doesn't shrink anymore. She takes up space. And if you don't quite feel ready for a one-to-one session with me, there are 3 freebies in the description box below. So I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.